Thank you.
You got your groupies here, huh?
Seriously, I collect the money in the back, but instead of 10, it'll be 5, because I know there's going to be so many of you. So today, what I wanted to talk about was, getting back to the basics about what we do and why we're doing it. And we're all here to grow our business, right? We're all here to move our business forward. So I want to talk about your mindset and your agenda and how that directly impacts the way others perceive you during the first couple times you meet them. So when you first shake someone's hand through maybe the 5th meeting, how they perceive that. So to talk about your mindset, I like to use our alphabet, and I take 3 letters. I like to put them in an order, and it creates a mindset. At least it does for me. IRS. Now, I don't know about you. When I think about the IRS, it doesn't make me feel happy inside. It's just 3 simple letters, but it does completely affect your whole mindset. So another one, how about we all go down to the DMV and register our cars, right? I don't know, many years ago I had a special registration. I stood in line 45 minutes, get up there, I'm missing a piece of paper. The lady says, well, you don't have this piece of paper, you got to come back. So would I have to stand in line? She goes, yeah, we don't have anything for that. I had to stand in line again for another 45 minutes. So mindset controls absolutely everything you do. Now, it's not a physical thing. This isn't something you say, it's not knowledge, it's not what you're wearing. But it absolutely controls every single thing that happens when you're talking with someone. Everything. Okay, it controls the way you respond to a question, the passion in your voice when you respond, the voice inflection, the way you choose to form your words. It all comes from your mindset. It's all wrapped around your mindset. And your agenda, right? So your mindset and your agenda. And I want to talk about, for example, let's say that you're in a group and there's somebody telling a joke. And this particular person telling a joke, you don't like them. Now, I'm not talking about somebody that you just really don't know, you don't really care for. I'm talking about you just don't like this person. They tell you this joke, it's not funny. As a matter of fact, I'll go one step further. You probably think to yourself, what an idiot. Who the heck would think that's even funny? Now, you take that same person telling the exact same joke that you don't know, you've never met him. It's hilarious. You're laughing. It's great. You're probably remembering it to tell your friends later on. And that's your mindset. And that's how powerful your mindset is. So it's important for you to understand what it controls. If you're at the office, or if I'm at the office, and I smash my thumb in the door, I'm going to say, ouch, right? Really loud. 4-letter word. If I'm at home, it's a 4-letter word, but it's not ouch. So how is that, right? At that exact moment that my mind does that shift, because I'm not thinking about it ahead of time. Oh, I'm at the office, I can't say it. No, it's quick. It just comes out. So what I want to talk with you about, and at the end I'm going to give you a technique, is how important it is for you to have the correct mindset. So we're all here to grow our business, but is the correct mindset, see, most of us, we work at a company, we start at a new job, or we get involved in a new business where we're selling, or we're involved in a health product, and some of you here do network marketing, so you're involved in health, or a service, right? And you start and you sit down and you learn and learn and learn about the service and what it does, and you learn about how to overcome objections and how to respond to questions, and everything you're learning is what to say, right, about your product, how to speak about your product. And so we kind of get in this idea, or at least we get this idea in our head, that when we meet someone, we just bleh about what it is that we know, because otherwise what's the whole point? What are you doing? I mean, you're learning about what to say and what it does and how it benefits them and how it helps them and all of these things, and you kind of get conditioned that you're supposed to talk about it. But here's the problem. We also know, when I was talking last week, I held that book up about how to win friends and influence people, and many of you seemed like you'd read it, and I know most of you have, and we learned that what does everybody like to do? Talk about themselves, right? Listen to themselves. I'm having a blast up here because I'm talking. Right? So we want to talk. We want to speak. Well, how does that work if you're meeting somebody and you want to talk about all the stuff that you spent all this time learning, and you love to hear yourself talk on top of it, and they want to talk about what they know as well, or their family, their kid that just did something wonderful, and they want to. How does that work? So this is what your mindset has to be. You have to understand that the correct way to deal with somebody is you want to make them feel good about the interaction that they had with you. And the way I like to express this, when you meet somebody for the first time, think about it like this. Think about a profile. It's an empty profile, okay? So let's say that I meet Jane for the first time, Jane Taft. So for Jane Taft, there's going to be this name above this empty profile. It's going to be Jane Taft. And below it are going to be 5 boxes. Now they're not equal size boxes. The first box is about this big, okay? And each box represents one individual meeting. And the second box is about this big, about half the size. And the third box is this big, and the fourth box is this big, and the fifth box is this little tiny box. And what that means is that after you've met somebody 5 times, your opinion of them is pretty solid, or their opinion of you is pretty solid. It's not going to change much. Now, you could be completely wrong, but whatever it is in your head, you have an idea of who they are. And the reason why the first box is so big is because that's the first time you see them. Talk about first impressions, what they're wearing, whether you thought they were intelligent about their stuff. Whatever it is that you fill in that box, all of that comes from the first meetings. Now, after the 5th one, it's pretty well solidified. But it's really the first 2 or 3. So you've got 2 or 3 times when you're talking to somebody. Now, human beings are very simple. And at the end, after everything is evaluated, we're going to have 1 of 3 opinions. I like the person, neutral, don't like the person. Right? Real simple. Or I enjoyed the conversation, neutral, didn't raise itself above any standard for me to think about, or didn't enjoy the conversation. Real simple. So the point here is you got 2 or 3 times to solidify that. And how are you going to do that? If we know that everybody likes to talk about themselves, and we know that you spent all of this time learning about your product and how it's going to make somebody healthier or how it's going to help them in their life, how do you mesh those 2 together? Because you want to talk about that, and they want to talk about whatever it is that's going on with them. And how do you do that? Well, your goal is to move your business forward, right? That's the reason why we're all here at Successful Thinkers, is to move our business forward. So don't you want that person to have a really good opinion of their conversation with you? So when they walk away and they're thinking about their 30 minutes that they had or their hour, wow, I really enjoyed talking with Jillian. That was a lot of fun. Well, what is going to give them that? Well, if I sat and listened to Jillian bloviate for an hour, how much fun is that going to be? Now, if she happens to get lucky and she's talking about my favorite subject, I don't even know what that is. Well, I guess if she's talking about me for an hour, then I'm going to walk away thinking, yeah, she rocks. Right? But if she's not talking about what that subject is, then what are the odds that she misses the mark? And that's what you have to understand is everybody wants to talk about themselves. So what you need to do when you talk with somebody is you need to find out what's their interest, right? You need to let them go. So let them run, as I call it, right? Let a horse run. So the mindset needs to be not, I'm going to do an information dump on you, but I'm not going to sit here and explain how my product is going to make you healthy. I'm going to sit here and allow you to talk about what you're interested in. So your agenda, your mindset is that you're not selling your product or service, but your agenda is to allow the other person to talk about whatever it is that's on their mind. And people will tell you what's on their mind. Okay? So when you meet somebody the first time, or they meet you, there are 2 sides that people go on. There's the left side, I call it, and that's the 99%ers. Okay, that means that 99, sometimes 100% of everybody you meet in a month goes on the left side. Now, there's a lot of reasons. Now, there's subcategories to each side, but there's a lot of reasons to go on the left side. Maybe they want something from you, they didn't separate themselves from the pack, they weren't memorable, they were an idiot, you know, whatever it was, all they did was talk about themselves. Whatever their thing was, that's the left side. That's everybody. Now, the right side, that's maybe 1, 2 people a month get to the right side. Now, here's the difference, and this is what's relevant to us. When you send somebody, or somebody sends you an email from the left side, okay, I have a special spot for that email. And I literally have an email spot that says, get back to. That just means that at some time when I'm free and bored, I'm going to open it up. So some of you might be in there. I really apologize about that. But I'm going to open it up, because if all you do is talk about yourself, you're on the left side. No, I'm joking. But I'm going to open it up and I'm going to get back to them. And it might be a week or 2, you know, whatever the timeline is, if I do get back. Or if you send me a voicemail, you know, I may or may not get back to you, but it's going to be at some later time when I have the ability to do that, when it doesn't conflict with anything else. Now, if you're on the right side and you send me an email, the first available moment that I'm going to respond to emails, I'm typing up, I'm excited because I'm thinking about our interaction, I enjoyed our interaction, and I want to communicate with you again. Or if you send me that voicemail, I'm writing that number down, and later that evening or whenever it is, when I'm driving in the car, right, I give you a call so I can chat with you. So that's what the right side does, and you want to get to the right side. So how do you do that? Now, you don't do it by talking all the time. I like to do a 1 to 10 rule. Ideally, you probably want to start out 1 to 5. So you talk for 1 minute, They talk for 5. So that means you're asking questions. I try to go 1 to 30. So my goal is I'll talk for 1 minute, they talk for 30 minutes. And some of you I know have made comments about, hey, I'm always talking about myself, because I really am truly interested, because my agenda in the conversation is literally to let you talk about whatever it is that interests you, because that's what interests me. Right? So my mindset isn't to sell you something. As a matter of fact, I know the other day someone says, oh, you have a life insurance company? Yeah, I have a life insurance company, because my agenda isn't to sell life insurance, right? That's not what I do. So you want to get to the right side. You want to go ahead and do a 1 to 5, 1 to 10. That's one of the goals that you want to do when you're talking with somebody. When I was in my early 20s, I sold windows. So I was the guy where the night before you're eating dinner, and my telemarketer will call you. Now, if you answered the phone and you didn't hang up right away, she got you. She was good. She was seriously good. She got an appointment. And the next day, ding dong, there I am, this bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, 20-something-year-old who's want to sell $5,000 to $10,000 worth of windows because I want my motorcycle and my big screen and going to Vegas and all these things. I'm here to make a sale. So I'd get in that house and I'd be out of that house about an hour and a half, roughly. I either have a sale or I don't have a sale, but about an hour and a half. So I'm working for this company. It's almost a year, and I made really good friends with somebody in the front. And she pulls me aside. She says, "Hey, Lewis, you need to talk with Richard." And I said, "Well, why is that?" "Well, you know, your year to date is about $2,000 difference." "Okay." She said, "Well, here's the problem. He goes on 1 appointment a day, 4 days a week." Okay, 1 appointment a day, 4 days a week. I was going on 4 appointments a day, 6 days a week. Okay, that's a problem. She goes, "I don't know what's going on, but you got to talk to him." So I go with Richard and I ask him if hey, can I go on a ride along with you and go to one of your appointments? He said, "Sure, absolutely." Now, Richard was about 73 years old. He walked about, I would say, a quarter my speed. He drove about 1/18 of my speed. And it was hell driving out there. I mean, it was slow. No offense to Richard. But it was safe. It was safe. But it was slow. So we get out there, and I was thinking about a way that I could describe, because every time I tried to describe this, but I finally came up with a way to describe this appointment. Okay, I want you to imagine that you're in class, and this woman walks up, and she's got these really long nails. And she goes up to the chalkboard, and she just scratches right down the chalkboard, right? I mean, it makes my bones vibrate right now just thinking about it. That is how bad this appointment was for me, because we're into it for 2 hours. Mind you, I'm in it an hour and a half. 2 whole hours, and not one single word about windows. Are you kidding me? Not one word about windows. We talked about the dog, the kids. This is my favorite when we talked about the garden. I mean, are you kidding me? I'm 27 years old. I'm riding motorcycles. I'm out having a good time. I don't even know what a garden is. I mean, I go by the garden department in a Home Depot or Target or Kmart. Driving me crazy. And then not even 1 more hour, but 2 more hours later. So we're into this appointment, 4 hours deep into this appointment, but he walks out with a sale. See, and the key was that he walked in as a salesperson and he walked out as a friend. And I kind of caught that. I'm like, wow, that's really interesting. And he was always invited back for dinner. Just the guy was a friend, because he wasn't a man selling them windows anymore. Now he was a friend advising them on which windows to buy. Right? So he walked in and he started off probably on the left side right off the bat because he's a salesperson. But he moved his way over to the right side. And that's where he was. He was on the right side because they really, really enjoyed his company. And they enjoyed who he was because he was interested in them. So then come to find out that he was a millionaire. He had all the money in the world. Had all his stuff paid for. His kids are set. Will's done. Ready to go. This guy, his mindset, he absolutely was there to meet the people and enjoy them. His agenda for the appointment was solely to get to know them. That was his total agenda. Could care less if he made a sale. And that guy sold like a rock star because people loved him. So he walked in as a salesperson, he walked out as a friend. And that is the key. So I'm not understand this. I'm not telling you to not talk about your business, right? I mean, the point is we're here to move ourselves forward. But what I am saying is you've got a couple opportunities in the very beginning when you first meet somebody to have them have a perception of you. And what perception do you want them to have? Do you want them to want to call you again? Or do you want them to think that you are just like everybody else? Like, I mean, I know these people had 3 or 4 window salespeople. And many of you have probably had a window salesperson. Hell, I was probably out at your house when I was a kid. I don't know. But we've all had it, right? So